हारमन फाउंडेशन ने पार्लीमेंट हाउस सिडनी विच एक प्रोग्राम आयोजित किया। इस विच मैंबर ऑफ पार्लीमेंट भी शामिल होए। पंजाबी ਅਤੇ अंग्रेजी च ड्रामे भी खेडे गए। इस विच डोमैसटिक वायलेंस बारे लोगों को जानकारी दी ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ रोकने वास्ते होर उपराले करन दी लोगों को बेनती की गई। मैं हरिंदर सिंह अपना फ्रेंच चैनल ਲਈ सिडनी। भगवती देशिति कंठ कुटुंबिनी भूरि कुटुंबिनी भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरवरवर्षिणि दुर्धरधर्षिणि दुर्मुखमर्षिणि हर्षरते भुवनपोषिणि शङ्करतोषिणि कल्मषमोषिणि घोषरते धनुजनिरोषिणि दितिसुतरोषिणि दुर्मदशोषिणि सिन्धुसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते।
Thank Harman Foundation who has come up with these kind of projects, and we really had a good time, enjoyed on discussion how we can help people who goes through domestic abuse. And yes, I believe we should have these kind of events to educate the community with these kind of cause.
Okay, we've just seen a wonderful performance of two plays demonstrating the impact of domestic violence on people, and yet a message of hope at the same time, that people can live through it, can rise above it, and can learn to live happy lives. There's a message there for all of us of hope and an encouragement to make sure that we pass on positive messages to our community, to our families, so we can beat domestic violence in the long term.
ਦਾਜ ਮੰਗਿਆ ਸਭ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਕੋਈ ਕਮੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਛੱਡੀ।
ਪਰ ਜੇ ਫੇਰ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣੀ, ਉਸ ਤੇ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਕੋਈ ਕਸੂਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਾ ਜੱਸੀ। ਉਹ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕੁੱਟਦਾ ਹੈ, ਤੇਰੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਲੈ ਲੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਤਬਾਹ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ ਤੇਰੀ।
ਹਰ ਵੇਲੇ ਬਸ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਤਾਨਾ ਮਾਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ। ਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਨਾ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੀ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਰਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੜ ਰਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ।
ਹੁਣ ਕੋਈ ਘੱਟ ਨਰਕ ਹੈ ਜੱਸੀ?
ਕਦੇ ਦੀ ਲਾਇਆ ਤਾਂ 2 ਪੈਸੇ ਹੱਥ ਵਿੱਚ ਫੜਾ ਦਿੰਦਾ। ਮੇਰੀ ਬੱਚੀ ਦੀ ਫੀਸ 3 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਤੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਈ। मैं उन्होंने बाने मार मार के टाली जानी है। पर इदा तो कदों तक चलेगा दीदी? कदी कोल बैठदा नहीं, कदी नाल बैठ के रोटी नहीं खाता, नाल सौंदा नहीं। मेरी बच्ची सहमी रहिंदी है, उन्होंने वेखदे ही कमरे दे विच सौण चली जाती है।
ये अन्याय है जस्सी जो तू सहंदी जा रही है।
शायद मेरा ही कोई कसूर होना दीदी, शायद मेरे तो ही कोई कमी रह गई होनी है।
ये सिर्फ एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ सिचुएशन है जस्सी, ये कमज़ोरी है। इंसान अपने विच ही कमियां लभन लग पैंदा है, हालातां तो डर जांदा है। इस करके अमरीक वर्गे बंदियां दा हौसला वध जांदा है।
मैनू अपनी कोई परवाह नहीं थी, तुसीं दस्सो मैं की करां?
Congratulations to the Harman Foundation as well as to the Western Sydney Multicultural Health Services for conducting such an important event campaign and on domestic violence and awareness evening, as well as the plays which were in English and in Punjabi. It raises the important pandemic, the shadow pandemic, as Dipti Zachariah said, and how important it is for the whole community to take charge and open our eyes and ears, and if there's any help that we can provide, let's all do it.
हिम्मत हैगी है कि बस विक्टिम ही बने रहना है। कदी मेरे तो सलाह, कदी किसी होर तो सलाह, सलाह सलाह सलाह। जस्सी तेनू डिसीजन लेना पैना, तेनू अपनी जिंदगी की डोर लेनी पैनी अपने हाथ विच।
वैसे कदे दिल आया तो अपने दोस्तों वाल ले जांदा, कदी कदी थोड़े कपड़े भी दवा दिंदा, पर कदी कदी
ते तू पिघल जानी है। मैनू तो एक साइकोपैथ लगदा, जिवें दिल करदा तेरे नाल खेड़दा है।
फिर एक फैसला जा हो जाता है कि शायद सब कुछ ठीक हो जाए।
ਜੱਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਸੱਚ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਪਾ ਰਹੀ ਤੂੰ ਕਦੀ ਕੁਝ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਦੀ ਕੁਝ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਪਾਗਲ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ ਉਸਨੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ
ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਾਗਲ ਹੀ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਦੀਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੰਨਦੀ ਹਾਂ
ਜੱਸੀ ਪਰ ਤੂੰ ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੀ ਦੇਖ ਕੀ ਹਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤੇਰਾ ਵਾਲ ਤੇਰੇ ਵਿਖਰੇ ਪਏ ਨੇ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਢਿੱਲੇ ਪਏ ਨੇ ਚੱਜ ਨਾਲ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਭੁੱਲ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਤੂੰ ਤੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਗਾਇਬ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ 17 ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ
17 ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ 17 ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਖਬਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਿਹਾ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ
ਕੀ ਅਨਾਪ ਸ਼ਨਾਪ ਬੋਲੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਅਮਰੀਕ ਕਿਉਂ ਆਏਗਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਖਬਰ
Tonight at the New South Wales Parliament was such a wonderful event highlighting the importance of domestic violence and what actually we should do and how it is affecting our community in so many ways. Thank you very much, Harman Foundation, particularly the chief of the foundation, Mrs. Harinder Kaur, for organizing this function. I'm glad I came here. The plays were basically so emotional that I had tears. And thank you very much for organizing it. And I hope the group works even harder to root out the problem in our community. Thank you.
It was my fault. I was bad news. He would force me to sign the loan papers and my whole salary would go into mortgage. All because he was jobless. And on top of that, he started to accuse me of having affairs. Just a figment of his imagination. You know, if I tried to deny his lies, he would drag me by my hair. He always blamed me. You know, he was a mama's boy. He was constantly on the phone to his mum in India. And then she started to suggest other girls for him who he could marry. I couldn't understand how he could marry another girl when here I was his legal wife. It didn't make any sense.
Oh well, one is his mother's choice, and the other for dowry.
One more. Ready? 1, 2.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਹੈਗਾ ਮਨਜੀਤ ਕੌਰ and I want to thank everyone that came here. Our play was Love, Hope and Life. Our purpose was to spread awareness, to get as much engagement as we can through our play. I believe we've made a good impact and we're very grateful and thankful for this platform and being able to help other women out there who actually need help.
Apna Friends channel for coming here and participating and encouraging us. It's been a wonderful evening at the Parliament House and we have really enjoyed doing what we do, which is spreading domestic violence awareness and speaking up and encouraging others. So good luck to Harman Foundation. They're doing an amazing job and we know they will continue to do that.
Thanks to Apna Friends channel for giving me the opportunity to briefly commentate on what we saw today, which was held by the Harman Foundation, talking about nurturing rich relationships and how that they begin at home. Family and domestic violence is a very, very, very important conversation and we started here today at New South Wales Parliament and hopefully we can take it to Canberra. Everyone's input helps and we've spoken today and we've heard from the panellists about coercive control and legislation and how that can be changed in the coming years, how you can help as a bystander. And we've heard from domestic violence survivors themselves. We've seen some rich plays and we've been joined by many people here today. It's everyone's issue, as we've heard today. So it's an incredible journey to be a part of, and I hope everybody can make a difference, and we all can, and it all starts at home. So be sure to play your part in society.
I'd like to thank Harman Foundation for all the work they've been doing in really highlighting some of these issues in domestic violence and actually being able to provide concrete pathways and counselling services so that women can get the help they need and deserve.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਹਾਊਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ। ਹਰਮਨ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਡੋਮੈਸਟਿਕ ਵਾਇਲੈਂਸ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਮਾਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਤੇ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਰੋਕਿਆ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ। ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਪੂਰੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੋਕ ਸਕਦੇ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਵੀ ਕੈਨ ਸੇ ਨੋ ਇਫ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਡੋਮੈਸਟਿਕ ਵਾਇਲੈਂਸ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਦੈਨ ਵੀ ਕੈਨ ਸੇ ਨੋ ਐਂਡ ਸਿਰਫ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੱਕ ਬੰਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੁਣੇ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ.
It's about this domestic violence against women and family. And for me as a woman, particularly, um, we must have to have courage and be aware of these issues that's going on in our society. We must be courageous to face it out and speak out.
क्या कोशिश भी ना करी
ਜ਼ਬਾਨ ਚੋਰੀ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜ਼ਬਾਨ ਲੜਾਣੀ ਤੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਰ ਚੱਲ ਜ਼ਰਾ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਕਰਦਾ
ਜੋ ਕਰਨਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਰ ਸਭ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਕਰ ਸੜਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ
ਜੱਸੀ
ਕਿਉਂ ਘਬਰਾ ਗਿਆ ਬੰਦ ਕਮਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੁੱਟਦਾ ਹੈ ਚੱਲ ਮਾਰ ਥੱਪੜ ਚਲਾ ਹੱਥ ਕਰ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਡਰ ਗਿਆ ਅਮਰੀ ਬਸ ਬੰਦ ਕਮਰੇ ਜੋਗਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਅਸਹਾਈ ਔਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਤੂੰ ਬੰਦ ਕਮਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਕੁੱਟ ਸਕਦਾ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਡਰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਤੈਨੂੰ
ਜੱਸੀ ਤੂੰ ਕਿਹਦੀ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਬੋਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਕੌਣ ਸਿਖਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਲੀ ਨਾ ਜੁੱਤੀ ਹੈ ਤੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਪੈਰ ਦੀ ਜੁੱਤੀ ਸਮਝੀ ਤੇ ਭੜਕਾ ਨਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤੇਰਾ
ਨਾ ਅਮਰੀ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਅੱਜ ਠੀਕ ਹੋਇਆ ਮੇਰਾ ਅੱਜ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੀ ਅਹਿਮੀਅਤ ਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਅੱਜ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਕੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਮੈਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਤੋਂ ਆਜ਼ਾਦ ਕਰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਆਜ਼ਾਦ ਕਰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਜ ਮੇਰੀ ਕੂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਮਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਤੇ ਦੂਰ ਲੈ ਜਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਦੂਰ ਲੈ ਜਾ ਮਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਅਮਰੀਕ ਨਾ ਬਣਨ ਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬੰਦ ਕਮਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁੱਟਦਾ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਜਾ ਅੱਜ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਤੇਰਾ ਮੇਰੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਲੈਣਾ ਦੇਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਲਾ ਜਾ ਅਮਰੀਕ ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਮੇਰੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਦੀ ਨਾ ਆਈ ਚਲਾ ਜਾ ਅਮਰੀਕ ਚਲਾ ਜਾ
the oldest continuously democratic systems of government in the world. For a newly established country, that's an amazing record to have. But we have been blessed in this country with the gift of democracy, with the legacy that allows us to meet in a place like this and represent our communities. And I always want to remind myself of that, of the immense privilege I have of being part of that process. Can I congratulate the Harman Foundation, not just for this event, but for the day in, day out work that you do in the communities of the Northwest. I came across the Harman Foundation early in my term as member for Riverstone, because they were founded early in my term as member for Riverstone, and our journey has been in parallel. And I've seen the good work that you've done, that only you could do really. It's a specialist niche that you've filled, a need because of the particular demographics and culture and I suppose time of life that people in the Northwest are going through as they settle in their new homes and set up their new lives.
Counselling or whole person care, which I think is so important, that I think your work is invaluable and government can't do it alone. So can I say on behalf of the New South Wales Government, thank you very much for your dedication, your hard work and your inspiration. And domestic violence is a terrible affliction in Australia. And can I say, I think it's more than one person a year, one person a week actually dies from domestic violence, but that undercurrent of sexual violence, physical violence, economic violence and psychological violence against individuals, which is particularly disturbing. And I think we should have a nil tolerance attitude towards domestic violence, no matter which part of society. And unfortunately it's here. I think we identify it better today, and I think we're just at the start of that journey to combat domestic violence and all its perturbations, and how we as members of the community can stand up and give out the right messages to the people in the community. So can I thank the Harman Foundation for your consistent work and for tonight's effort. Thank you.
Harman Foundation for this initiative to go inside people's homes and essentially get to the root of the issue and hopefully stamp it out, because we need to have the goal of getting rid of domestic violence full stop. And I again congratulate for that, but also for the other work that I know you've done. I see a lot of familiar faces here from the bushfire relief when you came up to our part of the world in Coffs Harbour to help deliver some of that bushfire relief. And I know that's something that the Indian community, but in particular the Sikh community, have got a really proud history of helping people in their hour of need. And I know that this is an extension of that, so I won't speak for too much longer, but thank you for this initiative. And congratulations for doing it.
Community, it is sometimes the case that people get left behind, whether it's through cultural barriers or language, or just unable to know where to access services. You are filling a very important gap, particularly in our Sikh community. So I want to acknowledge you and your wonderful team who follow you, who stand beside you, who walk with you through this journey. And you are all welcome here at Parliament House, and I also acknowledge my parliamentary colleagues. But you are so welcome here, and just thank you.
I extremely congratulate you on, and you know, I think it's so inspiring. And Dr. Fiona Martin, who's also the chair of the National Mental Health Committee, also commends the work you're doing with your chaplaincy services and other work, which is so important in the broader peer network and social support that is required for anyone, but particularly for women who may be experiencing domestic violence or abuse. The federal government has actually spent a record amount in this budget, contributing to the 4th National Action Plan. They've spent in the vicinity of $600 million for the Department of Social Services to deliver measures, and they do look forward to working with organisations such as the Harman Foundation to keep up and to build on the excellent work they're doing.
The woman is engaged and married. Woman becomes his friend, though woman future generations come from. When his woman dies, he seeks another woman. To the woman he is bound always. So why disrespect a woman? When a woman is the one who gives birth to the kings and queens and everyone. From a woman, woman is born. Without woman, there would be no one at all. And O Nanak, the true Lord, is the only one without a woman. So this is my message from Guru Nanak, who had revolutionized this thing 550 years ago and seek the equality, gender equality at that time.
I think Josh was 11 and Jay was 9, and they suddenly grew up. They felt they couldn't see me in pain anymore. Anyway, I'm very proud of them today. One is a chartered accountant, and one helps me with my business completely. And guess what? My ex, he now lives with a nurse, having left the lady doctor as well. He can't help himself, can he? No. Aren't our lives very similar?
Yes. Control of every manner. Physically, emotionally, mentally, financially. We come out like turtle wrecks. Oh well. So what's this Pinky story, Asha?
Today. I'm also the appointed supporter of the joint federal and state campaign to stop domestic violence, which is about stop it at the start. And in that context, actually, it's very timely because a lot of the premise of that campaign is about how each one of us can be an influencer. And I think both of you mentioned that earlier, that whether it's what we do in our own households, what we may do when we're at school, if we're taking our kids to school or taking someone to the local sports club, in restaurants, it's the conversations that people have. It's about respectful relationships and calling it out. So if there is something that's unacceptable or someone who's doing something that is inappropriate, it is important firstly to name that and to actually state that it's wrong. As hard or easy as it may sound, it's the small things. And you know, it's about, there's also another campaign called There's No Innocent Bystander. So if you know of someone, and I'm not saying that anybody knew what was happening with the dear late departed Kamaljeet, but if you suspect even the smallest thing, that there may be someone who's a neighbour of yours or some loud noises you're hearing from next door, if there's some way that an individual can reach out and assist, often women in such situations may not be willing to seek help, But if there's some way, you can either report it anonymously or provide some help. At an individual level, we can definitely do a lot.
I see clients coming from all communities and all backgrounds, be it Australian, be it migrant communities, or from refugee background. So I think it's very important to understand that this is something which is general, and there may be different ways in which it's being manifested, but and every culture and community have their own complexities. However, the problem is something which is universal. And the other thing, of course, I think with the diverse communities, there is the issue around stigma and the importance of family and trying to keep things inside the home. I think that's a very important issue as well, and which becomes a challenge what do we do when women don't make that phone call for help? Or even when the police comes to their house, they deny it. Or
really easy said than done from many perspectives, from within and internally as well as externally. And I think the most challenging is the internal one, because it is impacted by many other external factors. Something that I had in mind before you started with this, domestic violence has no community, no culture, but it still belongs everywhere. That's the sad part about it. And the examples that my fellow panelists mentioned, and we generally mention, is somebody going through domestic violence. Maybe they are not strong enough. Maybe they have pressures. Maybe they do not have financial stability. Maybe they do not have great friend circle or family support and things like that. Let me tell a bit about myself. I am a survivor, yes, but let me tell you my professional background. I am an academic of IT in Western Sydney University. I am a director of academic program for one of the programs, Information Systems. I am also Deputy Associate Dean International for Southeast Asia and a survivor of domestic violence.
A lot of support. Have we got enough support? We heard about the budget. Government is spending lots of money into that because you know why? We do care about it. But have we able to conquer this chronic domestic and family violence situation in people's life, which is what is happening in their houses, so hard to know until they want to come out. So my message is very strong, which I have come across with domestic and family situation people. My message is that come out early as much as you can. And Simi mentioned, is it easy? Probably not. But what can we do? We can encourage people to. Prevention is better than cure. And we need to give this message to our sisters, to our daughters, to the mothers who are affected, that holding their hands, and they can stay in their homes if they want to. So the question comes, what can we do? Culturally sensitive kind of services which can understand the community needs to be more invested.
As a theatre maker, as a theatre practitioner, I believe that art actually doesn't provide any solution. That's not the responsibility of art to provide a solution. What art does is, through its various means, whether it's theatre or there's any other artistic medium, it facilitates a platform to open the avenues for discussion. And going back to your first question, what an individual has,
what do you see as their main sort of objectives here and now today?
We all have a role to play in breaking the cycle of disrespectful behaviour. Hopefully, like I said before, we can break this for the next generation. I know I'm teaching my daughters, one's 12, I'm already showing her a lot about the cycle. So it's very important that that's something we do. Crisis response and systematic case management. Systematic case management is by professionals. So it's not just volunteers or, you know, mums and dads and families talking. We have qualified people that are managing our cases. And that's really important because I think that's one of the key things that puts us apart from other people also doing the same work as we are. In addition to that, we are sustaining a team of volunteers. About 200 people are wholly committed to our mission. I work in HR. I can barely manage 50. I don't know how we're doing it with 200, but we are.
ਆਪਣਾ ਵੈਡਿੰਗ ਪਲਾਨਰ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵੈਡਿੰਗਸ ਤੇ ਇਵੈਂਟ ਪਲਾਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਭੱਜ ਦੌੜਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ। ਜੀ ਹਾਂ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਮਿਲਣਗੀਆਂ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਦੇ ਹਰ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਵਿੱਚ। ਸਿਨੇਮੈਟਿਕ ਪ੍ਰੀ ਵੈਡਿੰਗ ਸ਼ੂਟ, ਵੈਡਿੰਗ ਵੀਡੀਓਗ੍ਰਾਫੀ, ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫੀ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਰਿਸੈਪਸ਼ਨ ਪਾਰਟੀਜ਼ ਵੀਡੀਓਗ੍ਰਾਫੀ ਐਂਡ ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫੀ, DJ in Bollywood style, DJ in Punjabi style, also live ਢੋਲੀ and Punjabi ਭੰਗੜਾ group ਜੋ ਕਿ ਲਗਾਉਣਗੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਇਵੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਚਾਰ ਚੰਨ। ਤੇ ਡੈਕੋਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਚਿੰਤਾ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਵੈਨਿਊ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅਕੋਰਡਿੰਗਲੀ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਵੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਖਾਵੇਂ ਨੇਪਰੇ ਚੜਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਗਾਰਡਸ ਵੀ ਹਾਇਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਨ। ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ 'ਚ ਹੁਣ ਇਵੈਂਟਸ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਸਟ੍ਰੈਸ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਸਿਰਫ ਆਪਣਾ ਵੈਡਿੰਗ ਪਲਾਨਰ ਨਾਲ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਥੱਲੇ ਲਿਖੇ ਗਏ ਨੰਬਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ weddingplanner.com.au ਤੇ।